How's it going tonight?
How we
Going
doing?
great. Going great.
Z- Zano can't even talk. He's got so many gumballs in his mouth. I mean, is that
I do have a gumball addiction. Matt Forbes knows that.
It's true.
is
I know
that
he doesn't chew
appropriate?
gum,
Yeah,
but it's gumballs.
is that appropriate nightcap etiquette to just be sitting there?
The sugar's just about gone. I'm gonna get rid of it.
Oh, so you
I'm
do
gonna
it for
chew.
sugar rush, and then it turns into a rock in like 2 minutes, and it's gone. I gotcha. I gotcha. So, what's going on, Land Geek Nation? The viewers are rolling in. Nice to see everybody. Uh, when you get a minute, let us know how our sound is. Matt Forbes, your spirit animal, James Simmons is here.
James Simmons, what's
Penelope
up?
Edie's here. What's up, Penelope? Uh, oh, it's Marcus. I was going to say, I bet you're relation to Marcus, but you are Marcus. I see what you're doing there. Nice to see everybody. As always, Mike Zano, who are we and why are we here? Or maybe I'll defer to. Did you see that big slobbery gumball come out of his mouth? Mike Zano, who are we and what is our
I'm sorry. I
function?
have a gumball addiction. I'm sorry. We are we are the Land Geek guys. We come on once a week, Wednesdays, Thursdays, whenever we figure that out, and we talk about land investing. And we have some
Nice.
drinks before or after the show, depends, or during sometimes,
Or all three. Don't
or all three.
let's not pigeonhole ourselves
But
here.
there is a two-drink limit typically.
Right. Right.
Uh,
I didn't know that. It's good to know.
Right. Yeah. Um, who is your? I'm not sure who wrote that. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Um,
the show is off to a bad foot already.
it's off to a
Wow.
bad start. That's for sure. I think James
Well,
Simmons
it
is
is 10
fooling with
o'clock
us.
on the East Coast. The kids are typically tucked in bed safely. On the West Coast, better turn the volume down.
Yeah. So it's typically a PG-13 show until Forbes gets a few drinks in him, until he passes
Listen,
the 2 drink limit, and
One
nothing,
then
time.
nothing surpasses the anniversary show when he just
One
was
time.
in rare
One
form.
time.
one
One
time,
time.
It was
One
great
more than
though.
time.
one.
Baseball cap on backwards, just spouting all kinds of land wisdom. It was a great night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
Uh,
Matt, Sweat Cedo season is back upon us.
Oh yes. That sounds good. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to wear the sweatsuit again. You name the day. I'll make it happen.
Next
well,
week.
yeah, I think next week we should break them out. Unless we're supposed to get a little bit of a warm up here next week, so we'll see how warm it is. But we have a question already.
Thank God.
Usually we don't get one until like minute 30, so this is exciting. Um, this is from Maximiliano. What's up, Max? How's it going? He says, "What do you guys think about buying land close to big parks, either tiny home communities or just campground? Allows RVs to park and charge by night, week, month. Oh, allow RVs to park and charge by night, week, or month. That way we never lose the asset. It can't get paid off." I mean, it's a great question, Max. I love those properties. I love selling those properties because people love owning land that they can camp on. But I guess the question is, do we Airbnb it? Thoughts, fellas?
Airbnb. I have not. I guess it could work.
It
If you
works.
had property in the right location, I'm sure. Matt, have you done it?
I've not done it, but I was on a guy's podcast who had Mark was on his, and another person was on, and that's what they were trying to set up and do. And so I know that that works, right? You set up an RV park, kind of, but no hookups or anything. Now that I'm a big RVer, I know all these terms. Very exciting.
Right.
Um, here's my thought on that though. Like, what a pain in the butt. That's my only thought. Like, if you can get it to work and you're happy with it, thumbs up. I think you can make money doing it. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you want to pay the insurance to have someone else stay on your property, or take the risk of having them on your property without that insurance. I don't know if you want to go chase people down for $40 because that's what they'll pay a night. So
Right.
if you want that, if that's how you want to roll with this, awesome. I will not partake myself.
Is that typical now that you're an RV guy? $40, is that typical overnight rate?
So it can go up to 150, right? But
They have a lot of
places are like,
amenities. I suppose with
yeah,
150, you're gonna have a pool, a little bit of a lake. You're gonna have
right. That's
you can,
where, yeah, you can hook up. There's water and sewer and all that stuff. I think this notion is like, hey, people can come and just sort of boondock on your spot. In today's world, in the RV world, there's harvest hosts and boondockers welcome, maybe, and you pay a nominal fee a year, $100 a year, and then you stay in all these places for free. And so the notion of that business, I think it sounds good, but I just, yeah, like I would keep your eye on the ball. But if that's really what you wanted to do, like it's not like you couldn't make that work. You could totally make that work. It just sounds like
right.
work.
Yeah, I think there's probably lots of variations of this model, and it's just, if you go through the process and you get the details down and you know how to run it and it's efficient and you can outsource it, then boom, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it.
There's
I don't think I will tell you this. I can't think of a successful land investor who would want to take that on. I'm not sure if that says something about it, but none of the people that I know would ever touch that. Because why would you? Why, you could, hour for hour make far more money with your time, just doing, more properties. But again, if that's what you wanted to do, could you make it work? Yes, I think you could definitely make that work.
Yeah, I mean, give it a shot. It distracts or it detracts from the recipe a little bit, right? But that might be something to do once you're up and running. And we talked about this last week. Get your wheels underneath you, follow the recipe, do the beginner stuff, get your business up and running, then experiment a little bit, see what happens.
I think that's smart. I think that's the right advice.
Let's see. Keith Forche says he did do a Hipcamp spot. Yeah, Hipcamp is a site that people use for renting their land out. He did a Hipcamp spot last year and sold it to someone who stayed a weekend on a terms deal. So there you go. Keith, it transitioned into a sale for Keith. So who knows? He might be onto something.
I say is, inch wide, mile deep. We're very, very specific on what we do, but there's variations of it, and I don't think there's probably no limits on what you can do. Actually, it's just a matter of if you have the appetite for it and you want to put the work in.
Right. Dave LaFay is here. What's up, Dave? Max says he thinks campgrounds may be a bit easier than actual Airbnb type spots. He is currently evicting a tenant. So believe me, I hate the idea of having humans on the land, but I do see the upside to it. Try to balance between long-term tenant and just rotating people, but I agree with the premise of our land business. People living there can be a pain. He's currently at war with a tenant. So those are things we don't want. Those are typically things, though. I mean, Max, you've done a ton of deals. What percentage of deals that you've done are you dealing with an issue like this? That's the beauty of the land business. I have a friend who owns. What's that?
Sorry, I was going to say you made a good point. Tenants, termites, toilets. We always say we're not, but you bring in one of those teas back.
Yeah, it's true. You're bringing one of the teas back. I like it. But eliminate the teas.
You were saying you had a friend that was doing something?
Austrians. No, I have a friend who she owns a bunch of duplexes with her brother, right? And it took them a number of years to start making a profit, and now they're doing okay, but they're dealing with stuff all the time. More than 1% of the time, they're dealing with stuff. That's what we love about land. I mean, it's a 1% type deal. All right, here's a question from Will Power. Will, I like that name. If that's
Mhm.
your real name, that's really cool. If it's not, it's still really cool. Why are some people willing to lose their property to tax sale rather than sell it? That's a good question.
It's a good question. They may not know anybody that wants to buy it.
Yeah.
They don't know. I
Exactly.
mean, that's the weird thing. We talk about taking these properties that are tax delinquent, and that sounds great. But then the flip side of the question really is, well, then who wants them? If this person who owns it didn't want it, like who's to say somebody else would want it? So that's actually a really good question. It brings up that topic, doesn't it?
Part of it is it has, for a lot of people, it has no intrinsic value. They didn't buy it. They were gifted it. They were handed it down from their parents. They didn't know about it. It has no value to them. And, they called an agent. The agent was like, yeah, I'm not going to sell that for 12 grand. I'm out. And they're like, all right, well then forget it. Right. The way they look at it is like the yearly taxes, all $84 or whatever the heck it is, right, is a burden, and they don't want to pay the burden, so they just sort of let it go.
Right.
It happens all the time. You wouldn't do it. I definitely wouldn't do it. These other two guys would never do it. But that's one of those things, like, just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean other people wouldn't do it.
Well, it speaks to the niche that we're in, right? There's lots of ways to make money out there, and you could be getting rid of something, any of us, a bike, anything, and be like, I'm just done with this. Yeah, take it. Oh yeah, $10, sure, take. And they have this whole model where people love bikes, right? But you just don't know how they do what they do, and it's not a big mystery. It's just something you don't know. So people don't know how we do what we do. It's not that it's extremely difficult. It's just a new concept for them. There are people out there that love these properties, and are willing to pay for them on a monthly basis. But and again, we've talked about this. Even suggest this to people when they're trying to negotiate. They want more money. I'd say, hey, why don't you just do what we do? We let the end user is going to pay us small monthly payment. Oh, forget that sounds complicated. No, I don't want to do that. They just don't even want to think about it. Never mind, try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, fellas. Billy Cook, do you know anyone doing land deals in South Carolina? Is the Southeast a good place to pick up land that owners don't want?
I don't know anybody who's done a deal there, but that doesn't mean really much of anything, right? It just means that we focused on other areas. I think if you can buy land, any asset, 25 cents on the dollar, you're in good shape, right?
Buy
But I just haven't done deals there, so I can't speak to that state, but I can speak to the fact that you're buying an asset 25 cents on the dollar. If you find something in South Carolina 25 cents on the dollar, I'd buy it. If it's really that good of a deal, but I haven't done deals there.
I would buy it too, but understand that this is a volume game. Buying a piece of property here and a piece of property over there isn't the model. Buying 10 over here and 30 over there and 50 over here, and having an inventory of the same kind of property, because you've got 200 ads on Facebook that just keep going, where people are constantly coming back, and you're like, oh, well, the one you called about actually sold 6 months ago, but I have these other two over here, right? So in this onesie twosie world, that doesn't really work. So could you do it? Yeah, you could do it. Is that a sustainable, long-term, successful approach? Maybe not as successful as going to where everybody else is and buying, 50 properties your first year or your second year, right? So you have to look at that. I would look at that angle as well.
Well, it's a good point. There's no rules here too. If you want to buy a property here, property there, and flip it and make some good return, the only thing is it gets sort of addictive, right? And you begin to realize, hey, I'd like to do more of these. How do I do more of these? And what can I really take on for deal flow? But you could certainly do a property a month or property here, property there, and be very happy and content, right? There's no Nobody's saying you have to develop the business to the level we're talking about. It's still an incredible side hustle just to buy one here and there. But I think you get addicted pretty quick once you see the returns.
Yeah, it's just more expensive when you do one here and one there. That's all, because you just don't get the economies of scale of doing it in the locations like we do it in, right?
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to tell anybody like, no, that's a dumb idea. You're going to rent out that land as a campsite. That's horrible for you're an idiot. You shouldn't do that. Because if that's what you want to do, you should go do it. But is that this business model? Is that this niche? No, it's not. That's something else.
Right.
Right. And maybe I'm wrong. And maybe somebody else is doing a podcast right now, like, oh my God, those land people are nuts. You should go and rent it out and do all that. Like, can you do it? Yes, you can do it. Is that the model? No, it's not the model. It's not the model. It's close, but it's not.
And he has another point here. He says, "Thanks. I've been looking into cash flowing real estate, and it doesn't work well everywhere." And that's really true. And in this business, when we think about cash flowing real estate, what we're really talking about is owner financing monthly. We make our properties cash flow for a really long time, and not you can't do that everywhere. We love working out west because we can buy land or because we can sell land for 100 down, 100 a month, and we can do that all day long, even 200 a month, 250 a month. I was looking at my average terms deal the other day. We're about $163 a month, something like that on average.
Yeah.
You can do that stuff all day long, right? It's a little bit harder to finance property or cash flow property when you don't have a lot in inventory, Matt Forbes, like you said, and things are a little bit more expensive. A little bit harder to find a buyer for $300, $400, $500 a month, and it takes longer to get your money out. Right, we're getting our money out on these deals in 10 months or less. We all get deals all the time where we make our money back on the down payment, which is pretty awesome. So, all right, let's see. We got some good questions coming in. Here is one from Sang Tran. I think this kind of talks or kind of is relatable to what we talked about earlier. Have you ever allowed a buyer to put glamping on your land and they're on the owner financing land? So, no, saying, I've allowed people to camp on the land per county restrictions, but I'm not going to allow them to set up hip camp on their own. I'm not going to allow them to make improvements unless they clear it with me. But again, that rarely happens. So, just be upfront with those people when you're selling the property and say, not sure what your intent is with the property. You can camp on it, you can visit it, but we just don't want you making improvements on the property until it's paid off. Those are the conversations we have with people when we're selling. Matt Forbes, any thoughts on that? Kind of similar to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm in total agreement with what you just said. Right, you got to sort of stick to the right. What?
Nothing.
You say that's a first. That is a first.
I said that's a first.
You stick to the recipe, right? I would not.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, listen, people staying on your land. Some investors don't care. I also don't allow it. I don't want headaches.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Well, you had a headache recently. I mean, I think I had a headache. I didn't find out about the headache. I had a guy on a note. I didn't know he was living on the land until 3 years into the deal. I called Mike Zano. I was like freaking out. He's like, Scott, just deed him the property. I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Or sell it.
I deeded him the property. I'd already made money on it. It wasn't my issue anymore. So,
yeah.
But we hate those deals, right? It just adds way too much stress to our low stress business.
Correct. So that's, there's this whole work-life balance, right? Like, just deed it to him and be done. Like, did you make money? Maybe you did. Mm-hmm. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you lost a little bit. Who cares, right? Not every deal is smoking. Not every deal is a home run. It is what it is. But overall, you do quite well if you stick to the recipe. If you do what you know you guys tell us to do, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I love this from Mark Eady. He says, in Charleston, I pay $2 per oyster, so 25 cents on the dollar for land. That's a no-brainer. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah, 25 cents
Um,
on the dollar.
yeah, right. Facebook user. Oh wait, that's James Simmons. All right. So talk about cloudy titles. How do you clean them up so we can offer warranty deeds?
I'm out.
So do we even go after those deals? I don't know.
I don't.
Mike, yeah. Forbes, you
Yeah, I
don't.
know. I mean, there's ways if there's a cloud in the title, you can go clear it up. But I think the biggest thing is um, we like to take the lowest lying fruit. And the lowest lying fruit is a deal that someone's owned for 10, 15, 20 years, or
Yeah.
you see a nice clean history of transactions of
Yeah.
title transfer. You know, you can take on more difficult properties if you desire. And this sort of falls in line with, do you want to have people, rent it? Like at the very beginning of this conversation, you sure can, but this adds another level of complexity. Do you want to go after probate properties or properties that have a cloud on the title? Well, sure, you can. If you want to learn how to specialize in that or get really good at that, and you can make a lot of money. But you could also just pass that deal, and since you mail consistently, go on to the next one. And you know that's sometimes hard, especially in the beginning, to pass up a deal that's like, wow, look at this deal. I'm going to make 4x of my money. I just got to clean up the title. Eh,
It's not a deal.
Yeah, that's, and if you only mail a few here and there, and that's what you have, to let that deal go is going to really hurt. It's not going to feel good. But if you mail all the time and you have a queue full of deals, that one deal is just going to be like passed with no problem. Like, hey, nope, I got 5 more waiting for me that have no issues. So I don't go into that whole idea of I have not gotten into the whole process of cleaning up titles and there's a cloud on the title and so on and so forth. I just buy properties that are easy to work with.
Exactly.
I've never done it. I got a buddy who's done a couple of quiet titles where like something's really banged up. He didn't know it when he bought it, and so it got screwed up. But it was it was a couple $1,000. It just why spend all your energy over here when you can do 5 to 10 times the amount of deals with the same amount of energy expended by you, right? So this is we are not the saviors of land. I think in the Land Geek community, right? We are not there to right the ship. We are there to take the easy wins and win. Right? I'm sure there are people who specialize in that. I think probate's a really good one, right? Because when you're new, you immediately start running into probate deals, right? And people, I can help these people. I can do this. I'm doing a service. Yada 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 yada. That probate takes 2 years. That probate took a year. That probate's gonna go take 18 months. Like, what are you doing? Right? Can you do it? Yes. You can do any of the things that have been asked tonight. Could you do any of those? Yes. Do I want to? No, I don't. And I'm doing a probate one right now. Actually, it's horrendous. Right? We used it as an experiment to see if we could, crack the code and make it go fast. And so far, no.
It's funny.
Why are you experimenting, Matt Forbes? Why?
Because I don't do any of the work. That's why. Because I got enough.
Well, that brings up a good point. It gets to a certain point in the business where you sort of are idle in a sense, right? And you have time. You do have an entrepreneurial spirit. You're like, all right, what else can I do? Maybe I'll start looking at, and that's a good time to say, maybe I'll look at doing this or doing that. Look at it. How would I deal with probate issues? Let me take some. Maybe I'll take a course on it. Maybe I'll study it. There's options, right?
Yeah.
But that's the bread and butter is done at that point. You got the foundation, the fundamentals, and now you're just like, hey, let me do something with my time.
What's next? My wife and I have a bad habit of going, okay, what's next? Right. What's the next thing? Right. Set this up, get this plate going, get it making money. What's next? Take over the world. Me and her versus everyone else in the world. Let's go. So
it's all good, dude.
That was one of those moments.
Well, I mean, that whole mentality though is what got you where you are today, right? Um,
Yeah, but I'm not
so
like you guys are way more successful in this than I am, right? For sure. But but you've been at it longer, right? In 2 years, I think you're 2 years ahead of me, Bosman, or three maybe. So now that I've been in it for 3.5 years, in 2 years, I'll be where I will be, where you are today. Hopefully passing you. And that's a great place, But I
no,
will
if you
have
look at
long
yeah,
stopped doing the business by then. I mean, I'll be doing it. Don't get me wrong. I just mean like me,
yeah.
personally, my time, where I spend my life, right? Because once it's going, it's going.
Once it's gone, it's gone. We have a win to share. Sang Tran, he just wants to share his first retail cash sale ever. Sang, this is awesome.
Let's hear it.
Sang went through flight school a few months ago. He bought it for $950, sold it for $2,300 plus a $249 dock fee. He just advertised the land in 3 months. So in 3 months, he nearly tripled his money. Sang Tran, that's awesome. Good for you. Congrats. I know. I know that had to feel amazing. That first retail cash sale feels amazing. So congrats to you. And as Mark Podolsky says, rinse and repeat. Time to
That's it.
rinse and
Hop right
repeat.
back on and do it again.
Awesome. That's great.
But do celebrate because the first one
Yeah.
is huge. It really can invigorate you. It's like, you can hear us talk about this till we're blue in the face or you're blue in the face or whatever. When you do your first deal, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Like Mark Eady says, if you can do one, you can do 100. That's exactly right. That's
exactly right.
That's the goal, man. Um, Another question, let's see here from Ross Davis. Ross, nice to see you here. If you buy a property with a tax certificate on it for delinquent taxes, do you buy the property first and then pay off the taxes, or what is the process? So it kind of depends.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zano.
No, it does depend. I mean, it's okay to buy a property with a tax lien on it. I always tell people in layman terms, just call the county when you buy a property or before you buy the property, actually. Any taxes owed? If so, how long before something bad happens? Like, am I going to lose this property? Like, what's the window? And so if a tax lien's on it, no big deal. Why? How much do I have to pay, all inclusive, to bring this to balance this out to zero? Anything, just that's the number you need to know because that's the number you negotiate with. And once you know that and you know the timeline, maybe you let it ride for a bit. Maybe you need to pay it off right away. If it's a tax deed property, like a deed grabber, you're going in and there's a tax deed auction, which we've all done this, right? And you got a property that's a couple weeks from an auction, and you pick it up at a sweet deal, and probably ticking off the neighbor who's been waiting for that property to go to the tax deed auction, by the way. So that is a deed grabber. That you want to pay off pretty quick because you want to stop it from going to the auction.
Yep. I've done that. I've bought one on a Tuesday.
Neighbors love you, right? Oh, yeah. I can't wait for it to come. And all of a sudden, why is it no longer on the? Well, yeah, someone just came in and bought it.
I had to go to auction like it was in the same week it was going to auction. And I didn't know. I somehow, like, we stumbled into the fact that it was going to auction. We actually didn't know. Right? We just looked at the back. We were like, oh, okay, whatever. And then somewhere in due diligence, it was like, that's weird. We called the county, and the woman's like, you have till the end of the day. And we're like, take my credit card number right now, go. We did, and and then we sold it, a couple days later. But yeah, you just gotta be careful. You have to pay attention, right? Because that stuff can slip through. But also, there's to be fair, in a lot of these states, there's a decent redemption period, so it's not necessarily the end of the world, but you don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
Good idea. It comes down to knowing the rules in the county, and that's why we say start with the county and stay there because you get to know these rules really well. So there's a county I work in. It's a there's a 3-year tax lien cycle. So if I'm picking a property up in year 1 of the tax lien, I'm not feeling any pressure to pay that thing off, especially when they charge me $1 a month.
Yeah.
Not even that,
Okay.
cents a month, right? If I'm in year 2, should pay it off soon. If I'm in year 3 of the tax lien cycle, yeah, I should maybe pay it off. But you know what? Here's the other thing. Like these counties, when it gets to the time that it is becoming emergent, they send you these bright pink letters in the mail because it's a few
Yeah.
have gotten past me, and they say your property will be sold at auction in a few months. And you're like, oh, I better pay those taxes. I don't typically like to wait that long, but typically the county's good at letting you know uh, when you need to pay this stuff off so you don't lose the property.
Yeah. There's definitely a sub niche there, right? Going after people whose properties are gonna be taken, because
Right.
it's like, well, you can take my $2,000 right now, or you can get nothing, because that's what's going to happen in 5 days. And I know you don't have the 3,000. So do you want $1,500? Do you want $1,000? Do you want $2,000 right here, right now? Right. There's a little sub niche there that's pretty good, but you got to be really Johnny on the spot with that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Liam Neeson will be in that new movie Taken 3, The Vacant Land. Yeah, that brings up a good point, though. I have our team, when it comes to the taxes, I prefer, and they do, they call the county and ask them. You can look on the website and get these, but the website, having a person you talk to and saying, finding out exactly what's going on, the timelines, all that, I think it's critical. Plus, I'd like them to hear them say the property back. So, verifying it's the right property. I don't want to just rely on the website. I know there are some really good websites out there. Maybe you get used to the county you work in and you know 100% that the website's accurate and you're good, but still, I like that phone call to the county just to say, hey, I had this parcel. Yeah, and who do you show as the owner? Great, yeah. And what's the tax situation? Okay. And then any other questions that come up if there is back taxes, like, okay, great. Is there anything bad that's going to happen here? Like, do we have to pay this off quick?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's it. You don't have to be like all super like technical about it. Like, oh, you just speak to them. They're humans, right? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm buying this property right now. Am I going to be in a bad situation? Like, how long do I have to pay these? Oh, no, don't worry, Mrs. Zano. You can, they'll tell you, oh, yeah, well, you better, actually, yeah, next week. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Mr. Zano?
Yes, I talked about myself
Is
in the third person.
that what they call you, Mr. Zano?
When they call the county, this is Mr. Zano. Actually, I'm not calling the county. So, but.
Is that what your VAs call you, Mr. Zano?
Yeah, they have.
When's the last time you called the county, Zano?
I don't know.
I don't know. Billy Cook. How long? So, Billy, you might need to clarify for me because I don't know if you're just talking about the land business and the strategy that we employ, but his question is, how has the effectiveness of this strategy changed over the years? Has the opportunity been increasing or decreasing? What external factors are affecting your strategy? You might need to clarify for me what exactly.
Yeah. I mean, is he talking like, as the economy changes and so on and so, is it harder to buy land? Is it harder to sell land? I mean, is that what he's sort of getting at there?
I don't know if you could. Yeah.
We'll see.
You could
We'll
clarify, Billy.
Clarify.
We'll let him clarify. Chime in.
That could be a new segment on the nightcap, the clarification.
The clarification segment. Jonas Murphy. Jonas, nice to see you. Have you ever had someone call you out on a neighbor letter trying to sell just weeks after they received my offer for 4 times less? Well, that's interesting. So you mail an area, you canvass the area, you offer them 25 cents on the dollar for their property, you pick up a property, and then you try to sell it to a neighbor that you're already mailed to.
I'll speak for myself, and you may have a different experience. Most of the neighbors that I've sold to are people that actually have something on their property. So it's like
right.
and they never would have got a letter from me in the beginning anyways. So I may go to an area where there's a lot of vacant land and there are some houses here and there. Not to say somebody who has vacant land won't want to increase their acreage, but most of my successful neighbor sales have been people that live nearby or in close proximity. So and they have a structure, so they probably wouldn't have gotten my letter. But I can see where he's going, and it doesn't really matter because if the guy wants the land, he's gonna, he's gonna make you an offer. So it's worth checking out either way. It doesn't matter.
I love those properties sometimes with the homes right next door because I've had a lot of good success just giving them a ring and saying, "Hey, I have the property next door under contract," or "I own the property next door. Do you want it?" And it's been a nice experience sometimes.
Mm.
Go
For sure.
ahead, Forbesy.
I say, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna do? Call the police? I mean, honestly, like, is
No,
he gonna
yeah.
be mean to you over the telephone? Is that what we're worried about? Right. By the way, they ain't making that land no more. So if it's an honest to God neighbor, right? I don't think that's coming up. Now he may like jab you a little bit if he's interested. Yeah, I saw what you paid for. What can we do? Happy to work with you. Right? Quick sale, quick cash sale.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Right? I'm sure every once in a while someone just goes ballistic, but like that happens in all areas of this business, which is why you insulate yourself and outsource most of this stuff. But honestly, at the end of the day, like truly, what is that guy gonna say? It's like
And if
okay,
yeah,
it's all right.
That's
All
the thing where we go back to, and I used this Scott Bossman on the round table. I was thrown the tip of the week. And so I said, well, let me bring up something. Yeah, I quoted Bossman. That was my tip of the week. I said, don't let the emotion get in the way of the motion.
Oh, nice.
You can overthink yourself out of good, out of a good idea or you cannot overthink getting involved in this business. Your emotion gets in the way of the motion. You hear, Matt? We came up with that's a great saying, isn't it? Forbes, Boston was talking like, what'd you just say? Like, you hear what you just said? It was incredible. Don't let the emotion get in the way of the motion.
I am honored that you used my quote as tip of the week.
And Scott Todd didn't even bat an eye at it.
He didn't? He didn't make fun of you or anything?
Probably because I mentioned Bossman.
Yeah, right.
That's the Scott connection.
It's funny. Well, I'm definitely honored. What I was going to say is, you know what? It's interesting. Like some of these people, they might call you up. Like Forbes was kind of alluding to this. Like, what's he going to do? Like, hey, what are you going to do? Like, but what if he calls you up and he's angry? He's like, listen, you just offered me this a few weeks ago. Now you want to sell me the same property for this?
Yes.
And, what if you just talk to him and say, well, I own the property. If you want it, I'll sell it to you. Let's talk. And listen, if you make $500, you make $1,000. If you double your money, and you're providing a service to the guy, there's no harm in having that conversation with him, right? You don't have to triple or quadruple your money with the neighbor. A win is a win. I think we get too hung up on the numbers sometimes.
This is important, right? We talk about this. No one's ever like gonna look at you and say, you only doubled your money.
Exactly.
What's that, Forbes? You only doubled your money? Oh.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah, we just gotta get past this. It's like cold calling in sales. What's the worst thing they're actually ever gonna do to you? Are they gonna swear at you? Is that it? Is that where we're at? It's not that bad, right? And if there are people who will call you back just to pick an argument. Have a great day. Okay. Well, if you're not interested in buying it, no problem. Have a great day. Well, how come you blah blah? How come you sent me this mail? Wah wah. Did you also call MasterCard? I assumed you called American Express and yelled at them as well. All right. Eat blank off. Have a
See
great
ya.
day. Peace. Yeah, it's fine.
Peace to your mother. That's funny.
Whoa! Where's the show going?
He's
Right down the
Forbes
rabbit
isn't
hole.
even. He's not even drinking tonight. He's on some cleanse.
No,
So
Oh, by the
gets
way,
me
we want
angry.
to take a poll. I want to take a poll if anybody would like to have a Movember nightcap where we all wear mustaches.
oh yeah, let's let's take
And
that
then
poll.
also we'd like to bring back. People don't even know we can sing.
No,
that we could
I'm not.
think we
I will not
sing.
be there.
I'll tell you right now, Boston can sing. Forbes is very talented when it comes to Christmas songs, and I'm just not afraid to make a fool of myself.
Scott Todd got
Nice
run
for you.
over by a reindeer. You remember that?
Oh my lord, not our best.
Who sang that one? You,
Oh,
Boston?
it was amazing. Yeah. It was Christmas a couple years ago. I think we definitely need a nightcap musical or Christmas musical, or I don't know. We'll see. I like the Movember idea. I really do.
We're doing it.
James Simmons. So to expand on what he asked earlier, he says, so if you get one from an auction, does that title come with clouds? So it really
Ooh.
depends on. Go.
We just talked about this on the round table. It's coming up, so I don't know. Like,
Oh, nice.
like a cliffhanger. Stay tuned. That was the whole topic of the round table.
Oh, it was
all right,
nice.
well,
But what I would say is this, because I wasn't on the round
Well, you
table
weren't
this week,
there,
but
so we can hear your version.
well, but just call the county, James, and say what's the deal with this? Like, different counties are different. There will be a redemption period in some counties. So, like in Colorado, there's a 9-year redemption period. If Matt Forbes buys a property at tax auction in 2015 and he sells that property to me today, what's that?
but I thought it was 7, 9.
No, I think it's 9 years in Colorado.
Okay, I don't know.
It might be
That's fine.
7, check. But anyway, Matt Forbes can buy that property, he can sell that property, but whoever is the owner of that property can't do anything with that property during that redemption period.
Right.
You can't make any improvements on it. That doesn't mean that you can't sell it. And you just need to disclose that with your buyer. You need to say, listen, this property was bought at tax auction. There's a redemption period till 2024. That means the prior owner can come back and claim it, which never happens.
It
And
can happen.
but here's why it won't happen this time, because the guy passed away, so it's not going to happen.
Right.
And so there you go. I'll still sell to you on a special warranty deed. Some counties at tax auction, the cloud in the title is gone right away.
Yep.
So you just got to know your
Correct.
county.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the round table.
Yeah, and I guess go to the Roundtable podcast.
I wish I'd been there. Mark Eady has a question. I have been getting I'm getting a few owners who are deeding over their properties at no cost. What do you call that, Mike Zano?
Is that the $1 Skittle or the Humdinger?
It's the $1 Skittle.
No, it's
What's
not.
the Humdinger again?
Yeah, no, the Humdinger is just it's a deal that comes it comes
Like
to your
a
inbox,
no-brainer?
and it's a no-brainer. There's no back taxes. It's 25 cents on the dollar. Chain title's clear. Go, get it, buy it. The $1 Skittle is where you buy a property for $1, or they deed you the property for nothing, whatever, and you take care of the back taxes or back POA fees or whatever. But anyway,
$1 Skittle.
he's getting properties deeded over to him at no cost because of outstanding POA/HOA dues. Outstanding dues are still so he's still getting the property with fees. When you consider the fees, probably about 20 cents on the dollar. But the plan would be to repay the POA fees when sold.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. You just gotta, in my experience, I worked in an area once in a POA, And man, I was like, these are beautiful properties. I'm buying every one I can get. And I bought like 8 to 10 of them. And then I was like inundated with back POA fees. And the POA fees, they tend to accumulate a little bit faster than the county taxes do. The interest rate is a little bit more. There's late fees that they throw in there. So you just got to be careful with those POAs.
Some
What's
POAs
Zeno?
are PO. Not very
Yeah.
nice.
I have a couple of counties where I do that, and I'll get stuff. I'll buy something for $200, and then I
Yeah.
assume all the POA stuff, and it's great because you're into that property for almost nothing or nothing, right? But you got to understand, for all the benefit on the front end, the back end is, are people going to want to move there and pay those POA fees? You will bring it to zero when you sell it, right?
Yeah.
But I found that there's a couple thousand lots in this place, and the POA it's not expensive, but a lot of people don't pay. So it's not the most well taken care of thing. And so there's a certain type of buyer that's always interested and then eventually never buys because they're like, oh, there's this POA, right? And it's expensive over the next 20 years. So there's some downside,
Yeah,
but
it depends what that delivers too. I've had some POAs where there's nice lake they can use, and they get this and they get that, and it's not too expensive. So people are, so yeah, just definitely depends.
I agree, but they're good. Like some of them you get in for really cheap money. So if you're new, that's a strategy. You're going to go where there is a POA, which is like against what we normally talk about, but there's love there because you can get into them for super cheap.
Here's the other thing I'd recommend, Marcus, is let's say you're able to buy 10 of those properties. Call the POA office and say, I'd like to be put on a payment plan for all of these dues at no extra cost, no fees. I'll pay you $100 a month, whatever. I've done that before, and that way you don't have to pay them a bunch of cash when you're acquiring these properties. Just pay them a flat fee monthly, and then they don't charge the late fee. They don't accrue interest on the payments as well. So that's something you can maybe think about.
Sometimes you can negotiate with them too.
Yeah.
And be like, listen,
I've never had success doing that, but
what's that?
Yeah, I've never had success doing that. I've asked in the past, and they're like, nope, sorry. Okay, fine.
I have not had success. I haven't tried that hard, right? But at a certain point, you're like, listen, I own 17 lots, and I owe you $19,000. So you're either going to get none of it, or you're going to get half of it. What do you want?
Right.
I think you could play hardball and make that work, but yeah, I haven't tried very hard, nor have I been successful with that.
Awesome. All right, a few minutes left here. We got still questions rolling in. I love it. So Billy Cook's his question, just to clarify, your overall strategy relative to the economy, etc. Like, has our strategy changed in this business as far as buying and selling land compared to when we started? I started 6 years ago. Zano's 6, 7 years ago. Matt Forbes, what, 3, 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Has your strategy changed
Nope.
due to or in relation to the economy, the overall climate in the world?
Not one bit.
Thoughts? Strategy has not changed. Strategy is the same. Mechanics may be slightly different. The market waxes and wanes a little bit, right? We've had to adjust our offer prices up a little bit. But as long as you're still consistently mailing, you're still consistently doing deals. And then you're going to make it up on the back end.
Yeah, I'd say no dramatic change at all.
No.
What is that?
Somebody must be printing something.
Oh, you're printing. Okay, I got you.
Oh, sorry. What are we printing?
I don't know.
What are we printing documents right now?
Oh God.
Let's see here.
Would that must mean that my my crisp noise canceling is off. There it is.
Yeah, it's not working. It's Skype.
It's
So
on high now. How's this sound?
Skype
that's
is
better.
terrible.
Could you hear that
Better.
clapping?
No.
Yeah, so now it's on. See? You can't hear this.
No.
You weren't.
Can you hear?
I was.
You were like,
Look at it.
Look it.
Watch.
look,
Ready, Matt?
look, I'm
This is-
snapping. Look, I'm
this is it.
snappy.
Noise cancellation off. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Noise cancellation on high.
A little
it's
bit.
It's much less.
Much lighter.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, couple more questions here. Jeff
Good.
Storley says, yes, we do all need mustaches. So,
Yeah,
Forbes,
mustache.
get to work, because I know it takes you a little bit longer to grow a mustache than it does me.
I have no, by the way, 0% chance of me growing a mustache. Just so
I
you
got an
know.
idea.
Okay.
John Sikovich, if you don't, nice to see you, John. If you don't have an LLC and you can't use ACH to set up auto payments, what is the best way to collect monthly payments? I heard you could try with PayPal, but they don't like it. So if you don't have an
PayPal
LLC,
doesn't
what are
like
you
it.
doing?
PayPal doesn't like it, although at the beginning I did that for years and nobody bothered me. There's so many ways to take payment right now. You could literally, I've taken payments, people mailing me payments. I don't particularly like the payments where you have to go to Walmart and cash them in, because that just takes, it's not a 5-minute trip to go to Walmart and cash in one of their money orders. It's definitely a long endeavor, but I'll take money any which way typically.
Venmo, Zelle, check in the
Money
mail,
order.
checkbook, auto bill pay from your bank. Checkbook.io is a great service where people can send you a check for $1. So, but yeah, if you're in that situation, maybe try to pick a system, or try to pick one and go with it if possible. I like the Walmart MoneyGram. Walmart's just down the road. Love it. Anyway,
I get once a month we get mailbox money from one dude. We get a money order.
yeah, I get a money order too, once a month.
I would take that money order,
And
go cash it, and go out to eat with it. Make it a unique day.
and yeah,
Sold. I like that idea. I'll do that. Big fan.
Connor Hamilton. Okay, let's end with this topic because I think it's awesome. We'll each spend 1 or 2 minutes on it. Connor is 18 years old.
Hey, what's up, Con?
Is 18 too young to start buying land, or should I wait till I have more money and more experience?
Oh my God.
Don't
I
wait,
think
Connor.
Matt's got the best answer here, because I think he's already had some 11 or 12-year-olds making. How old? What's the deal?
I have a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old making money doing this business right now. I can tell you right now, Connor, the answer to your question is ask every single successful land investor, what's the one thing you wish you would have done different? And 100% of them will tell you, I wish I started when I was 18. Every single solitary person will tell you, I wish I started earlier. Every single one. And I know that because I asked that question at my first boot camp just to hear what people did wrong. And that was the only answer I ever got. And I went, maybe this really is for me. Can you do this at 18? You're damn right you can. 100%. If you apply yourself now, oh my God, if I did this when I started when I was 18, are you kidding me? I'm 42. Oh, if I'd started when I was 18.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to get in touch with us, Connor. We've had some people that have gone, started not too much older than you, and they're crushing the business now. I could put you in touch with them if you want.
Yeah, that girl.
Michaela is insane.
Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you have discovered this at 18 years old and you are motivated, you're going to rock this business. You just got to put in the time.
And all right, I'm going to say 2 things to Connor and then we can close out. But he wants to know how old we were when we bought our first properties. So he's rubbing it in a little bit.
39.
I was 39, Connor.
Yeah, suck it, Connor.
Like
I was 39.
mid 40s.
So you know what, Connor, you got 20 years on us, dude. You can do this. If we can do this, you can do this, especially in today's day and age. And speaking of today's day and age, I think Connor would relate to something that we rolled out this week, Mike Zano.
Yes.
Yes, you want me to do it? You want to talk about it, or should I? Or?
Oh, that. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
it's a work in progress. There may or may not be Land Geek Guys TikTok channel. I
Land
knew
Geek
that.
Guys TikTok.
Look at Matt.
Check
Borg.
us out
I'm out.
at Land
For
Geek
those
Guys.
reasons-
Connor Hamilton. You're out. He's out. Forbes, we're going to feature you on there very soon.
We're looking for followers. So go to Land Geek Guys on TikTok, and we're going to be putting out tips for those of you who have TikTok.
Yes.
No, me.
So
Put Matt to sleep, but Connor, check it out.
awesome. Connor, you can get in touch with us if you go to thelandgeek.com. You can book a call with either Mike or myself. You can email us at info@landgeekguys.com, or just send us a message on Facebook. And we'd love to talk to you about the business.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. It was a fun night. We'll see you what day next week, Mike Zano?
I was just thinking about that. I am away until Thursday morning, so hopefully Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday night. Okay. Thursday night. All right. So that's going to be Thursday, the 23rd.
But we do have a webinar Monday night.
We do have a webinar Monday night. That's another thing for you to maybe come to, Connor, if you want. We're having a webinar. We're having a Q&A session about flight school Monday night on Zoom at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can find details in the Facebook group. If you go to the Land Geek Motivation and Wealth Creation group on Facebook, you can find details in there. And then the next flight school starts September 29th, 2 weeks from tonight.
Nice.
Connor Hamilton says definitely will follow the TikTok. He says it's so smart that we're getting in on the trend.
Don't judge it yet, Connor. We would like some suggestions, Connor. You're probably more hip to it, so we're coming in from a whole different angle. But it's gonna get
Connor,
better.
you're probably more hip to it. I mean, that just gives away the cookie store right there. Now he knows you're a million because you just used that phrase.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great night. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll talk.
Hey, it's Mark Podolsky, the Land Geek, your favorite niche real estate website, www.thelandgeek.com. I'm excited for today's Roundtable podcast. I get to see my dogs because my teenage son has introduced me to Lil Wayne. And I started listening to I Miss My Dogs. And I thought, oh, boy, I do miss my dogs. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you probably are not living with teenagers. So, that being said, we've got Bearland Aaron. Bearland Aaron, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, Mark. How you doing?
Good. You're still he still scratching his head on the whole Lil Wayne thing. We've got the Nightcap Meister, the Nightcap OG, Scott Bossman. How are you, Scott?
Great, Mark. Glad to be here.
Glad to see you. We get the most feared woman in the country, the terrorist hunter, Mimi Schmidt. Mimi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. Are we safer?
No.
No. Had to ask. We've got the technician, Eric Peterson. Eric, how are you?
I'm good. I wish we were safer, but it is what it is.
You know what? When I don't feel safe, I go to a little place called Lots, and I look over Tate's shoulder, and I just feel a lot better about the world. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's actually a program out there to look over Tate's shoulder and see how he actually runs his own land business. Go to landgeek.com/lots, LOTS, which leads us to, I love it when you call me Big Papa. Tate Litchfield, how are you?
I'm great. Doing well. Can't complain.
Great. And of course, the Sherpa, the brain, the professor, you know him, you love him. Scott Todd, scotttodd.net, landmodo.com. And most importantly, if you're not automating your Craigslist and your Facebook postings, postingdomination.com/the Land Geek. Scott Todd, how are you?
Mark, I'm great. And you know what, man? Like, you know what, dog? I got to tell you, I miss the times that we would shine. You know, you keep me on your side. You know, like, you would teach me how to ride. You know.
Oh, stop it. Just stop it right now. We might need to redo this whole intro. That was.
And you would teach me how to pry, brother. So I had to roll.
Put him on mute, Mark. Put him on mute, please.
Why?
Oh, I'm going to have to put both you guys on mute, apparently.
Look, we have our own lane. Listen, I read an article the other day, Mark, that said that this high school teacher, he created a website that teaches parents all the lingo, like, scooping. You know what scooping is? I got scooping over here.
Is that what you do with an ice cream?
Come scoop me, dog. Scooping, like pick me up. Let's go.
Can you dog and scooping. I was thinking of what I have to do after the snow melts.
Yeah. I don't know what that means because I'm in Florida. We don't get snow, but yeah, see, Mark's getting it down.
Here we go.
Oddly enough, though, I think Mark's phone, because Mark's listening to his phone, I think it's going through his earphones because we don't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No, and it's like that silent dance party. Mark's got the silent dance party going on over there.
All right, just look up Lil Wayne, I Miss My Dogs. It's from like 2004.
Yeah.
WGS. It's great.
All right, dog.
All right, dogs. All right, let's get into our topic, shall we, dogs? My dogs.
I feel like Arsenio Hall here. Should we be doing like the dog pound?
The dog pound?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's get back to 2019.
So Mimi Schmidt, her new nickname is like the Facebook, I don't know.
Queen.
Facebook Queen. The FBQ. So people are always asking Mimi, what is the best practices to put up an ad on Facebook? Mimi, what's best practices?
Far and wide. Advertise far and wide. A lot of these properties that we buy are in very rural small town places. So if you post your ad there, on Marketplace there, you're not going to you'll get some responses, but it's a big world out there. The point is to get the word out a lot of different places, and you'll learn from doing that where your land there's a demand for it, right? And then you can double down on those areas and still continue to. I've sold a property 45 minutes south of me here in DC out in Castilla, right? So there are people all over the United States that want land and where we're selling it, not just where the land is.
Yeah, but Mimi, Scott Todd will put up a blind ad on Craigslist. So Scott, can you just kind of define for everybody what a blind ad is?
Yeah. Okay. So basically when I say put up a blind ad, it's oftentimes because you don't have a specific property that you're selling. Maybe you're new, you're trying to get, names on your buyer's list. Maybe you're just kind of testing the market. A blind ad is basically an ad that says, hey, 5 acres in this area. You kind of talk about a hypothetical property. It doesn't necessarily mean that you own it. You're not listing the property number, APN number, everything. You're just saying, hey, 5 acres in this area. Maybe put a price down, $500 down or $100 down, this amount per month. And it's a very generic kind of a thing. And really what a blind ad does is if you imagine walking over to a tree and like shaking the tree and all the coconuts come falling off, right? You're literally shaking the tree and getting the coconuts to gather the email addresses. Maybe I shouldn't call customers coconuts, but whatever. You're really getting those email addresses of people who are interested in that type of a property. So that's what a blind ad is.
Okay, so let's go around the round table and let's ask them about the effectiveness, have they put out blind ads on Facebook within groups and marketplace? FBQ, we'll start with you.
Blind ads are great for Craigslist, but not for Facebook. And Facebook, people can get an idea of who you are through your feed, and they're savvy, right? They're going to look at that ad and they want to see the property. They want to know that you're for real and that the property is for real. You have to be specific. You have to provide pictures of the property, APNs, all of that. And it's hard enough for us to build credibility. So I think it makes it harder when you have a general ad. So be specific. We've debated this. I do much better with a long ad, even if people re-ask the questions on information you've already given in the ad. In addition to having a long ad and being specific about the land, your profile, it's important that it be a profile, a real profile. People are very savvy. They'll notice if it's just a profile that you threw up that has 2 weeks worth of history in it and one picture, right? You have to do better than that, right? So that's my 2 cents.
All right. Technician, Rick Peterson, what about you?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Mimi there. I'm pretty wary about using a general or blind ad on Facebook, just because of that. Because, people, they tend to want to check out the property, make sure you own it, all that kind of stuff. So you really got to be careful. But one way I like to get around that is if I've had property in that area already and maybe I've sold it, to advertise that property. And then when they contact me, I can tell them that one's sold and, hey, I've got more coming or something like that. I find that's a little bit more of a legitimate way to get away with a somewhat blind ad on Facebook.
Mimi, what do you think?
Completely agree. I've had ads that are a month old that people have responded to, right? Property's gone. It works perfect.
All right. The Nightcap Meister, the OG. How are you putting your ads up on Facebook?
So I would agree. I don't do blind ads on Facebook. I have also noticed on Facebook that you do need to be very specific, but you need to do it in a simple way, because I think people just don't have an attention span these days anywhere to read an ad 5 paragraphs long on Facebook. The other thing I found on Facebook is on multiple attempts, I have listed multiple properties in Facebook. I almost get no leads from those ads. So it seems like the more combobulated the ad is, the more complex it is, the less leads I get, and the more specific I am, talking about one property specifically with some really nice pictures. And I think pictures do all the difference on Facebook as well. I get better leads from. So that's what I notice with my experience.
You know what I noticed? Scott Bossman has a wealth of knowledge. And if you want to tap in to that knowledge, schedule a call with him or the Zen Master, Mike Zano. Today's podcast is sponsored by scheduling a call with Mike or Scott. That's it. Just go to landgeek.com/training. They can, basically diagnose where you're at in your process. We start with the toolkit, which, by the way, we now have the guarantee to rule all guarantees. We guarantee if you just execute on the toolkit that it won't cost you anything. So if you work that program for 6 months and you don't at least make back your investment, we'll refund you. It's that simple. Plus, there's flight school. Maybe you want to get all done in 3 days. Flight school live. Maybe you're just ready to just start climbing up the mountain with one of the Sherpas. Mimi, Eric, Tate. Do it. Look at one-on-one coaching. But you won't know what's best for you until you get on a call. Just go to landgeek.com/training and get to listen to Scott Bossman's and Mike Zano's mellifluous voices. How about that? Bearland Aaron.
That was a word. I like it.
That's right. That's I think there's a word for it. It's called sepquidilious. or sepquadillion, which means somebody that loves big words.
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? Very
You
lame.
must have like word of the day toilet paper or something like that.
It's all over the house. My kids have a tremendous vocabulary.
It's got
And if they don't,
SAT prep going on over there, it sounds like.
absolutely. I'm like, kids, I'm feeling a bit lugubrious because I'm not enjoying your study habits. So, Bearland Aaron, let's get back on track. How are you marketing on Facebook?
Pretty much the same as everybody else. I got maybe a medium to long ad going now. Contrary to my previous arguments with Mimi, I think I've come over to her side. Really specific about the property, pictures of the property. Sometimes I will use like a generic marketing picture to create some like an image of what you can do on the property, but I still also include actual pictures of the property and Google Earth stuff, those kind of things. So it's all really specific to one property. I have never really done a fully blind ad. I've done some things where I may have advertised like 3 or 4 properties in a specific area, like, hey, I've got several properties available in this town or whatever. Contact me for more details, and those don't really work much. You know, people want to see the specifics, you know. I'm finding the same thing as everybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Papa, my dog, Tate Litchfield. What's your take?
You know, I kind of echo what's already been repeated. Blind ads on Facebook cause a lot of confusion and a lot of, I don't know, upset inquiries, I guess. More people want specifics. So give them those specifics. Get very detailed ads out there. It's not like that's going to cause somebody to read it or not. It's just going to give them a better idea of what they're actually contacting you about, if it's the right size or the right location. So I try to be specific on Facebook. Craigslist, that's a whole different ball game, you know. Go vague, blind ads, try everything. I think the moral of this conversation is just do it, right? Just post ads. Just post ads on Facebook. Just post ads on Marketplace, buy sell groups, Craigslist, Landmodo. I mean, you're not going to know what works unless you try everything. So you've got to be everywhere when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, being everywhere. So Scott Todd, if I'm going to be everywhere, how am I going to execute on that?
Well, I think that what you have to do is you got to realize that, like, first, you don't know where your buyer is going to come from. And so if you're getting very selective and being like, well, I'm only going to be on Craigslist, well, then that might take you a little bit longer because you don't know if the particular person for this property, the specific buyer for this property is going to come from Craigslist, Facebook, Landmodo. You don't know where it's going to come from. So I think that what you need to do is you need to come up with a strategy, a posting strategy. So, like, you know, my posting strategy basically says, okay, we're going to post this type of an ad on Craigslist, and I like blind ads on Craigslist. I like those types of ads because what it's doing is it's shaking the trees, like I talked about. Then on Facebook, I'm not doing a blind ad. So on Facebook, I'm doing a different type of an ad, like a Mimi might teach you. Okay, so like you're dealing with an ad that's more specific to that particular property. But even then, you need to have a posting schedule because, you know, if you just go out on your own and say, well, I'm just going to post these whenever I feel like it, well, then you're not going to have that rhythm, and you need to generate some system that's going to give you a rhythm. You know, okay, I'm going to post the properties on Landmodo when I get them. So boom, that's part of my posting strategy. I'm going to market on Facebook on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'm going to post, you know, these properties. I'm going to hit this area, and Mimi talks about. I know she talked about it at the last boot camp, for example. She talked about her pattern of like, okay, I'm going to post the cities that start with, you know, A through E, or I'm going to post East Coast to West Coast type of a deal, so she doesn't inundate them. And she has a very logical plan of executing it. and then she executes that plan. So I think it takes some time to sit down and to say, listen, I know one of the things I need to do is every day I need to market. So what does that mean? It means every day I need to show up to the marketing table and I need to be doing something. So if you just show up and go, well, okay, it's time to do marketing. I don't know what to do now, so let me just wing it. Well, that's not going to work. There should be a day planned for your deal of the week. That's your message out to your team or to your buyers. For me, my deal of the week goes out on Sunday. Boom, this is what we do on Sundays. Everybody knows it. That's what we do. On these days, we're going to post on Craigslist. Like every day, we're going to post on Craigslist. When we get new properties, we're going to put them on Landmodo. If we see that a property's not performing well on Landmodo, like we're not getting the responses that we want, we're looking at the view count, we're not seeing the responses, guess what? On Thursdays, we're taking those down and we're going to repost them, a couple of them. So we're going to kind of like change it up a little bit. We're going to rewrite our ads. And then on these days, we're going to post in these platforms. And I think that when you do that, all of a sudden you have a plan. And, like Mark, I always say that probably the greatest marketer I know of is you. And it's not that I think you're a great marketer. I don't mean to minimize it, what I'm about to say, that you're a great marketer, but the one thing that you do that makes you a great marketer is you're consistent. Every Tuesday, this podcast comes out. Every Thursday, the next podcast comes out. Every Thursday, your review digest comes out. You show up consistently in the different places on a regular basis, and you're there, you're present, and you're participating into the marketplace.
I will accept the compliment. Thank you.
And it's not a backhanded one either. You're great,
No. I mean, if anyone's going to give me a backhanded compliment, it's going to be Eric. And we'll wait for that. Because, at boot camp, I'll always ask people, like, do you think that I email too much? And oftentimes hands will go up. And I say, good. That's right. So in relationships, you always think, well, familiarity breeds contempt. But in marketing, familiarity breeds trust, because ultimately you trust that I will consistently show up. Now it's my responsibility to make sure that when I do show up, there's something of value that wants you to, hopefully open up that email. That's on me. So it can't just be a bunch of just junk. That being said, I am showing up consistently with enough value that I know that, people are going to trust that, what I'm putting out there is good enough. And so ultimately with your ads, you just got to be consistent. You got to put out more ads than you think you need. We talk about this a lot at boot camp. You don't need to be a $1 billion company with your marketing, but you need to have a Geico mindset, right? They show up every day, 20 times a day, 15 minutes or more could save you. And we all can answer that question because they're consistently showing up. Are there too many ads for Geico? I don't think so. I love their ads. That's why you've got to show up every day. That's the, I think the consistency is the key. And again, Geico is not just marketing on one channel. They're on every single channel. Just like what Tate said, you should be marketing on every effective channel. Facebook, Craigslist, Landmodo. Those are your big three. All right. I'm going to get off my soapbox here. And we're going to ask Mimi, the FBQ, the terrorist hunter, for her tip of the week, a website, a resource, a book. Maybe she'll channel Mike Zano and give a quote. Your tip of the week.
So this is not a new tip, but it's new to me. So at boot camp, Scott was talking about email to mail, which is a service through Click to Mail. And I was like, yeah, I'll add that to my list of all these things I need to do. So I noticed that I would have people respond to my offer letters and they wouldn't even counter. I'd be so excited. And then they didn't even bother to put an email or phone number. How many times have you had that happen? It's like, oh, I don't want to wait 3 or 4 more months till I mail to this county again to get this deal. So I went and looked up the email to mail service. You put this one email address in, into the to line. In the subject, you put the name and the address separated by semicolons, and don't put a comma between the city and the state. And then you just attach PDFs. So a standard letter to the person and their PDF accepted offer, and mail it. And Click to Mail prints it out and mails it to the person. I was really shocked how easy that was, and I was disappointed in myself that I hadn't started to use it like 2 years ago. So that's how I am using Click to Mail now for people that don't give me info on accepted offers.
Okay, so just so I'm clear,
Yeah.
you get an accepted offer,
Yep.
but there's no information on it.
Right. They signed the accepted offer and took the effort to physically mail it to me or fax it to me with no email address or phone number. So I have this great accepted offer. They don't even bother to counter. So I'm thrilled to get it, but then I have no way to follow up with them but to mail them again.
So to mail them again, you go to email to mail. So from your email,
Yeah.
you send them one letter that says I've received your accepted offer.
Yeah.
I need, please contact me here
Yeah.
for the rest of this information.
Right. And I found it was it's so easy to use. I was so impressed. You just, you put quick letter at em2mail.com and you just attach a PDF. So you could just have a standard letter. So you just quick letter at em2mail. You put the name and the address and you separate each line by a semicolon and attach your form letter, contact me at, hey, you accepted my offer? I didn't get any contact information, please contact me. Boom, and it's like 80 cents. They print it out and mail it to the person. So then I'll get a response in 10 days instead of having to wait 90 days or 120 days until I mail again.
Brilliant. That's a great tip.
So,
That's a great tip.
Scott's been talking about email to mail for years. I wish I would have looked at it sooner.
Wait, Bossman or Scott Todd?
Todd. I think he uses it for different reasons, though. Don't you?
I do. Yep.
Scott Todd, what are you using it for?
So basically, it's a secret, Mark. I can't tell you. No, basically, did you guys see his face? He's like, what? What? No, basically what happens is when my intake manager, when they need to send a deed to somebody, we try to email it to them and say, here, we're going to email you the deed, you print it out and go. And what happens is sometimes they say, no, we don't have a printer. No, we'd rather be mailed. So then they used to send it to me. I used to send it a priority mail, a whole story. I'd chase the mailman down the street. It was a nightmare. It was bad. And we won't get into the specifics of what happened on my last event, but it was bad. Then what happened was I decided to start using email to mail. So now what happens is we have a dedicated email address set up you go to the Click to Mail website. You sign up for this program. You set up this specific email address, and then you whitelist who can mail to it. So then whoever mails to it, as Mimi said, you set up this one, they mail to that specific address for you. Click to Mail takes it, they print it out, they take your PDFs, they print it out, they mail it. There's no more chasing the mailman down the street because you missed a little red flag up time. And that's how we use it. So we use it for the deeds piece.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, I thought this was a very informative, very fun roundtable podcast. And I want to thank all the listeners. Hopefully you're getting value. And if you are, put it up on the interwebs. Put it on the social medias, the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Instagrams. I don't know. What else are the cool kids using? The Snaps, whatever it is. Share it with a friend. And then please do us 3 little favors. You got to subscribe. You got to rate. You got to review the podcast. Send us a screenshot of that review to support@thelandgeek.com. We are going to send you for free the $97 passive income launch kit. All right. Are we good?
We're good, Mark.
We're good.
We're going to do a quick count now. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let freedom ring. I think it's better when it's quick.
I do too.
I thought it was. So we're at boot camp, and Barely and Aaron, we're having dinner, and I put on, because it's kind of weird to have like just a quiet room at any point, right? So in the background, I go to my phone, I start putting on some music, and I mean, you would have thought that I went to a chalkboard and just put my nails down the chalkboard. Eric Peterson is like, this is my pet peeve. I can't stand the speaker from the cell phone. And to this day now, I can't even listen to my own speaker because I keep thinking about Eric being upset with me. Is that odd?
Mark, I got what you need. I got what you need, man.
What is it?
To the boot camp, to that room. We can bring our own speaker. It's a Bose speaker.
Oh, Bose speaker.
Okay. Like, look at how it's like a baby. This thing doesn't sound like a baby. This is massive. So massive sound. We can put Eric's pet peeve to rest. I don't really understand why he would have that pet peeve, but look, we don't want anybody to be uncomfortable, right?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I
Thank
mean,
you, Scott.
for a second there, he looked at me and he's like, my ears are bleeding. And I had to and it wasn't even a bad song. It wasn't like,
Great song.
I Miss My Dogs from Lil Wayne. But Eric, I'm glad that Scott Todd has our solution now.
Me too.
So for Vegas, we'll have the speaker. That will solve the issue, correct?
Yeah.
It should. It should.
We'll all feel better.
As long as it produces the audio quality that Eric needs. Look, man, he's accustomed to live music. He's accustomed to playing that guitar.
That's true. Well, now, Eric, let's say you're in your fancy car, right? Will you listen to the music through Bluetooth?
Yeah.
You will? Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good.
That's going to the speakers. Okay, so you're not like a total audiophile.
No, it's just, it sounds terrible coming out of the phone speaker. That's all there is to it.
I agree with you, Eric. It does sound terrible.
Plus, I'll add, we also had another phone playing music in the same room at the same time.
Can't handle it.
That I'll give you.
That is annoying.
So,
But would you have preferred silence?
we can talk.
At the end of a long day, Mark, it's okay.
No, I'm not saying I know, but it's just like that. The vibe is kind of weird. Like, you don't go to a restaurant, there's always like background music.
True. Now we have a solution. Scott Todd's going to bring his speaker.
Now, Mark, I have a question for you. In your car, is there ever silence in your car when you're driving?
Yes.
Okay.
Often.
So that's okay. It's a quiet space.
If I'm by myself, it's a quiet space. Now, let's say that my daughter is with her friends.
Oh,
I
you can't.
have to put music on, right, so that they feel comfortable talking and I can eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Right. But if I don't put the music on, they won't. It's just like awkward.
Yeah. I'm with you. But like for me, I get in a car and it's like silence and it's great. Like, oh man. It's one of the reasons I like flying too, because guess what? No one can find you. They can't get to you.
Flying. Dave Schmidt had some crazy stories, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Man.
Yeah, I think those are over. Hopefully there won't be any more crazy stories.
Yeah, you want to feel emasculated? Have a party with Dave Schmidt. There you go.
Oh,
It's all good. All right. Well, I'm gonna go have a very manly lunch. A whole food salad.
Alfalfa sprouts on top.
Alfalfa sprouts. I might throw in an extra thing of black beans. I'm not afraid. Barely.
Is it cold there in Scottsdale? Like you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, man.
That too. It struck me.
It was raining. It's 60s. It's cold here. It's global weirding, not global warming. We're having weird weather.
I mean, I got an earful from my Uber driver about the weather out there, man. Like when I was going to the airport, he was telling me all about how it's unseasonably cool. And I'm like, dude, it's 101 degrees. He's like, yeah, I know, but it should be higher than that right now. I'm like, are you complaining? He's like, well, I think we're in trouble. I'm like, what do you mean you're in trouble? He's like, oh, the whole summer is going to be thrown off now. It's going to be a weird summer. It's like, it won't be 150. I'm like, wow. I did learn something though, Mark, about your weather out there. And I didn't know this, but where we were in Chandler, right?
Right.
Well, the elevation change between Chandler and Scottsdale is like 1,000 feet difference, which I didn't know. I thought like, oh, it's the same area. So there's 1,000 foot difference. And he told me that's why everybody wants to live in Scottsdale, because the 1,000 feet makes it cooler in Scottsdale than like in Chandler. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that. So did you know that?
I did not know that, but now I'm going to be flaunting my altitude superiority around this city.
Yeah. He told me that's why, and like, I don't know, like you got to tell me about your own neighborhood, but he told me like, that's why when it rains, it does rain like in Scottsdale, like northern Scottsdale or whatever, like that area gets more rain than the other parts because of the higher elevation. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So look at that, man.
Yeah. Now when I'm, making conversation with somebody and say, where are they from? They say Chandler. I'll just look them dead in the eye and be like, oh, I didn't know I was better than you.
Yeah. You know who knew that though? You know who I know probably knows that whole deal?
Who?
Dave Schmidt. You know why? He knows all about altitudes and elevations, man. He knows all this stuff because he's flying.
He does.
See how much cooler he is than us?
He'll
But
tell
you
you.
fly? Shouldn't you have known that?
And then
I don't fly in Phoenix.
Oh, I see.
The biggest mountain in Florida is Space Mountain. True story. The biggest mountain in Florida is Space Mountain, 351 feet tall.
I love that ride.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I just want to say to the Phoenix listeners, I am totally joking. And because there is a joke that if you live in Scottsdale, it's called Snotsdale.
Oh.
Because you're kind of snotty.
Well, maybe it's not a
I'm being
joke.
snotty. Well,
Yeah,
no, it's a
maybe
stereotype.
you got the credibility. You got the creds, man.
He says he's not a land snob, but he's an elevation snob, apparently.
I'm definitely an elevation snob now. Just 5 minutes ago I wasn't, but now I am.
Yeah, see, like I'm surprised you even went down to Chandler.
Careful, he might not come next time.
I'm sorry. That's at like, I don't know, whatever the elevation is, but I don't go below 900 feet.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the Vegas elevation going to be? Vegas is cooler than Scottsdale.
We're at like 2,400, I think. So, I mean, we definitely look down on those in Arizona. No doubt.
There's an elevation superiority for those in Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, we just know when it comes to hot places, we know we got it. We're best.
When they're sober and clearly can think, they think, oh, well.
Right.
Yeah, Mark, your elevation is only 1,257 feet.
I mean, it's really low when you think about it.
What's the average temperature in July?
In Scottsdale?
No, in Vegas.
Vegas, we're at a comfortable like 108 probably. I mean,
but it's a dry heat, maybe.
It's a dry heat. Unlike Florida, there's it's a dry heat. You're not just sweating all the time. No gators you have to deal with. It's a good place. I mean,
no javelina, no cougars, wild cats like we had in Chandler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no fish.
That's true. Really, but we got good pools, right? Good buffets.
That's right. Oh my gosh! All right. Well,
what's your elevation tape? Oh,
like
sorry.
Now he's just getting to the conversation.
Yeah, I just heard that. I was waiting for the delay.
Jeez. He's at 2,000. Vegas is at 2,000. Scottsdale is at 1,200.
I'm at 650.
I'm at 108. So.
Yeah, I'm about at 1,000.
Look at that.
What's Eric at?
650.
So I'm looking down on all of you is what you're telling me.
You're the king of the mountain, apparently.
I knew it. This only confirms my prior suspicions.
How are we supposed to see over your shoulder if you're that high?
It's going to be hard. That's why I had to. That's why I had to videotape.
That was
Eric.
good, Eric.
You can't look over Tate's shoulder. Looking up at Tate. Lutz, look up at Tate.
Got to change the name. Yeah, you got to change the name now.
Funny.
Oh, I can see the meme right now. That's good. The GIF.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm making a meme right now. I got the knowledge. I got the connection.
Don't say meme with around.
No, I can't. No, don't say nothing. Can't say it.
Don't say anything.
Everybody's like, what the heck is he even talking about?
Inside baseball. Inside.
baseball.
Aaron can come up with one for us, right? She's a meme maker.
She is a meme maker. She's good at it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go eat lunch. Tate, are you eating lunch? Have you eaten yet?
I ate already. Yeah.
Okay, good. I worry about your blood sugar. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, this is Aaron with Vacant Land Guys here. Just wanting to answer a question I get a lot from customers trying to find properties. So the question I get is people are wondering, how do I get to the property? How can I find it? Can you give me directions? And with vacant land, there's no address, so it's hard to give you an address to find it. So we use GPS coordinates. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to show you how to find your GPS coordinates. This here, I have my phone here pulled up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little tutorial. So we're just, for example, we'll just go here. We're going to do for sale properties. And we'll just do this first one here. 40 acres, half-mile from North Edwards. Some pictures here. Then we're going to scroll down past the description. And this is in all of our listings. We include the GPS coordinates. And when you get down here to property details, you'll see the GPS coordinates right here. See these coordinates? So this is your GPS coordinates. Right? So you're just going to want this first set of numbers. So you just hold your finger down there, it highlights it. And you grab this little ball down here in the corner. You drag it over to the very end. Sorry, I got fat thumbs. Get that last little number in there. Sorry guys. Okay, and then you copy that. Then you're going to exit out of here. Open up a new tab. Oh, well, you could just click there, I guess. Open up a new tab. Clear that out. And you just punch this in, hit paste, go, and it'll take you, it'll pop up a map here for you for your GPS coordinates. You can tap on that map, and here's a corner of the property, and it's usually the first corner coordinates is usually the southeast corner, I believe. So that's your latitude and longitude. And if you hold your finger there, you can actually drop a pin. So it says drop a pin. Put a label in there and it'll save it. We'll just say 40 in North Edwards. Done. So you got that corner coordinate right there. And then we'll just go back and we could do another, drop another pin. So we'll just go back to the listing. And so here's the second set of coordinates right here. You don't want to get that semicolons to the left of that 35. So you don't want to highlight that, or else it'll screw up your coordinates. And then you get these first two sets here. Copy. Go back to your other page. Exit out of there. Paste. Search. And there you go. It's going to drop your other corner coordinate right there. See that? You can drop a label. Hit label. We'll just say, I guess we could say northeast corner 40 in North Edwards. And you can label it whatever. I'm just doing this for examples. So see, you got your 2 corner coordinates there, and that's that starts mapping your property. And if you want to know how to, if you want to get to this property, you just tap on that and click on directions right here in the lower left. Directions, and you can do your location, or we'll just say Los Angeles, California. And here you go, 2 hours 28 minutes. And if you have Google, it'll talk you right through it, and you hit start, and it'll tell you how to get there. You do a preview, and you can actually look at your roads, see how to get there. Oh yeah, 2 hours 20 minutes. You can like zoom in, and it'll take you right to the property, and then you can drop more corner coordinates when you get there. And then you can actually kind of walk the property boundary like that. So hope this is helpful, guys. Hope this answers a lot of questions, and thanks for watching.
I have several 10+ acre parcels that I've been trying to sell in the $15,000 to $20,000 range on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm considering using a realtor to list on MLS at a 10% commission. I could make approximately 70%, greater than 70% yield. What are your thoughts? So $15,000 to $20,000 range on Facebook.
So you trying to sell these cash on Facebook, or Dave, are you listing these on terms, and what terms do you have? So that'd be my initial questions. I mean, there's nothing
How
wrong.
long have you been marketing them? That's another
Right.
question.
Nothing wrong with working with a realtor, but I wouldn't want to work with them in a situation where it's exclusive and you couldn't sell it yourself, and some realtors may not work in that regard. So I don't know. I'd like to know what you're listing it for first.
Yeah, do you want a cash sale? Are you listed? Yes, cash. He wants a cash deal. So
Yeah, I mean, cash sales are hard to force. The terms deal is where the velocity is at, but they do come. So obviously a realtor is going to be more in line with a cash sale, but I would use every avenue of marketing, from Landmodo, some of the other land sites, Craigslist, Facebook. If it's truly is that below market value, that 15,000? Because if you're competing against other properties for a cash sale, you want to come in lower than they are, so you have to make sure that you're pricing it accordingly, and so on and so forth, or it's not going to move that quickly either. The term
Right.
sales is what moves our property the quickest, and I understand the value in a cash sale, I really do, but it's hard to force that. They do come, but the term sales are much quicker.
yeah, I mean, I think in our business it's 80-20 terms versus cash, sometimes 90-10 terms versus cash, depending on time of the year or whatever. Scott Todd always says you can't dictate what the market wants. So, I guess I would ask you, Dave, is there a way that you can finance these where you can get your money out in a year? I mean, you get your money out in a year on a deal like that. That's an amazing deal, right? Your yield's going to be
Yeah,
quite
we've
high.
done that. We sell. I know you have too, Scott. Same as cash, 1 year.
Yeah.
And you look at the return on that; it's pretty sick. Or maybe you could do it for less than 15. But again, it's you have to decide what you're looking to accomplish.
Right. And I would just say one other thing, and that is, I would call that a large-sized dolphin. Wouldn't you, Mike?
No, just a dolphin. I wouldn't add the word large
Just a
size
dolphin.
to it.
So, in our business, Dave, Mike and I, this is Mike's. I'm going to give you all the credit, but I talk about it all the time now.
Thank you.
I talk about it all the time. In our business, there are minnows, dolphins, and whales, and we buy a lot of minnows. Why? Because they move really quick. They move really fast. We buy them, and they sell in 30 days.
That's another analogy. I like that. The minnows are quick.
They're quick, dude. You can't catch them in your hand. They're gone before you know
what's
it.
good about a minnow? It's like I was talking to someone the other day about the deals that I sell, and I was like, yeah, hit singles all day long. All day long.
Yeah.
Hit singles. You know, you don't have to hit a home run. You don't have to hit a grand slam. You don't have to even get on second base. Hit singles all day long, little deals, and they pile up so quick. But it's a micro environment that we're in when it comes to other types of real estate, if you compare it to houses and whatnot. So when we say minnows, dolphins, and whales, that's relatively speaking. So a minnow would be anything up to like a $3,000 purchase. When then you're in like 3 to like 10 or something, you might be a dolphin. You get above that, you're in a whale. So you're in a dolphin range right there, but dolphins do make some crazy good term sales. Crazy.
Yeah, they do.
Like a $5,000 can be a $25,000, $30,000 term sale. But it's a matter of if you can support that, right? How quick do you need that capital back, and what's your monthly payments going to be, and so on.
Yeah, awesome.
What are your capital restraints? That's the way to say it.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, the minnows fuel the business for me. It's the bread and butter. I just had one today. I purchased the property for $1,200. This one took a little bit longer to sell. We purchased it 2 months ago for $1,200. Sold it today for $149 doc fee and $99 down, so $249. And then $99 a month for 60 months. So $99 a month. So we're getting our money out in 10 months?
Yep.
And then after that is profit. Now, you know, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you rinse and repeat, and that's what it's all about. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, look at you take 1 to 3, 2 to 6. You know, these little deals, your yield is over 130 when you do these little 1 to 3, 1,000 to 3,000, to $100 a month, 30 months. Do them as many times as you can.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. But now again, what this whole stemmed from the question of should you work with a realtor. That's an internal decision with your business model and what you want to do. But I think that what we're talking about is that, you know, it's hard to force a cash sale. There's a lot more buyers out there willing to pay terms, and there's a lot more money in the terms because you can extend those payments out. So, but you may need to get that money back now because you may not have a lot of capital to buy other properties, and you may have put them into these properties. So who knows? Everybody's different. And maybe that's not the case. But if it's not the case, then I would be like, man, picked it up for $5,000. I'd like to get a couple grand down or so, $2 or $3 grand down, and get like a $500 payment for, and come out with like $25,000, $30,000 on that. I think that would be a huge score.
Jason Mendoza has a good point. Why not sell the note if you get terms? So consider selling it on terms and sell the note. Jason Mendoza, nice to see you.
Jason Mendoza for the win.
For the win. So, Jason, you're really active on Facebook, dude. I hope you're doing well. If you've had a win, throw it up there. I see your properties all over the place, so that's all good.
Are you spying on his properties? Some might believe that's the case from the way you just said that.
I'm Facebook stalking him.
Are you spying his inventory? Watch out, Jason. I heard it.
Watch out, Jason. I'm coming after you.
Ready, Scott?
I'm ready.
Go.
We are land investors. We buy land from people who are distressed. They might have back taxes. They might have just owned the property for 30 years. They don't know how to get rid of it. We buy it from them for 25 cents on the dollar. We self-close all our deals. We close a deal on $100 or less, plus the cost of land. Turn around, sell it for terms or cash. We love terms deals because that creates passive income for our families. It gets you out of solo economic dependency, and you can quit your job.
28 seconds. Beautiful.
I'm getting better. Better.
Yeah, we're involved in this little micro niche. I mean, it's got to be a micro niche when it comes to real estate. When we buy properties, I mean, I've bought properties for $25 and $50. Crazy,
That's crazy.
but we've done this. $100, $500. It's not uncommon to repeatedly buy properties for about $1,500, $2,000. So definitely in a micro niche. But here's the thing, as Scott just so astutely, is that right? Astutely pointed out. Is that
astutely?
Right?
Yeah, that's a big word for you at 10 at night after a few beers. But yeah, you got it.
2 beers is correct. As he astutely pointed out, we take this land and we sell it, and in 1 year we recoup the expense of buying that land, and yet we have 2, 3, 4, 5 or more years to continue to bring in monthly passive income.
Yeah.
And so, Scott, it's only $100 a month. You're saying that's not life changing to me, Scott. $100 a month. I mean, yeah, it's nice. I'll take my wife out to Panera, maybe a little Cheesecake Factory.
Listen,
but is that really life changing? $100, Scott?
Not everybody's Mike Zano. I mean, $100 for me back when I started this, that was a big deal.
Can I do more than $100 a month?
Listen, the $100 Panera date with your wife, that's a lot of freaking Panera, by the way. It turns in
cookies at the end.
You roll it into a $300 grocery bill. You roll it into a $500 car payment. You roll it into $1,000 whatever, $2,000 mortgage payment.
Going, whose grocery bill is $300? Well, Scott, like me, has got a bunch of kids. It's $300 is just aisle 5. He's already at.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the bottom line is this, and this actually will segue into our topic for tonight. We should hit our topics, but the bottom line is this: this can segue into such a powerful business for you that not only are you taking care of your fixed expenses, but you're adding to your asset portfolio in a huge way. And you're cash flowing in a true business to the point where you can work from home an hour or two a day in your land business and support your family.
Anybody who may have replaced their job with land investing? Anybody you know?
Yeah, these two guys on this call. I mean, you choose to work, but you don't have to, for crying out loud.
I was talking about you. I think it's amazing. Yes, I that different story on this end, but I'm Scott. You did it. You did it. You replaced your income with land investing, and that's incredible. It really is. And so, I was being a little, is facetious the right word when I said $100 a month, but it rolls, the deals roll, and all of a sudden it's life-changing money, and you just change everything, right? I mean, literally change everything. You change your perspective, you change your daily environment, right? You change your daily environment. Look at now we belong to the tracksuit.
You change your wardrobe.
Club. Change your wardrobe. Neighbors wonder why this guy never takes his slippers off, even when he takes out the trash.